Hi everyone, this is Literature Decoded, where we decode each and every concept that you might find difficult in your journey towards government job preparation. Whether you're preparing for DSSSB, KVS, NVS, or any other state examination in which literature questions are asked, then this is the right place for you. Now, for your convenience, I have written the objectives of this video in bullet points. First, we will understand what are the minor works of Chaucer because one major work, Canterbury Tales, we have to do in greater detail. So we have to first focus on some of his minor works also because objective questions are directly asked from it. And then second, when you are going through your previous year questions, you might notice certain words. For example, Octosyllabic couplet or heroic couplet or different stanzas, Rima Royale, Ottava Rima Spenserian Stanza. So we need to understand and we need to keep in mind how to differentiate all of these things because see, I know you will be easily understanding all of these things, but how to retain these concepts that is more important. And in this video today, I will be telling you tips, I will be sharing some insights on how to learn as well. Now, we all know that Chaucer is known as the father of English literature, and his dates are from 1342 to 1400, and he's writing in the 14th century. All of whatever is written here is important from exams point of view because questions are directly asked. This objective information is very important, so you need to keep this in mind. This I have already discussed in the past video, but today because this is very important, I have written this so that we can easily retain as well. So 100 years war, actually it happened for 116 years, happened from 1337 to 1453, and it happened between England and France. Then second was the bubonic plague, in which one third population wiped out from England, and it happened in 1348. Yes, there were other episodes of bubonic plague or death, black death as we call it, but we need not keep in mind all the dates. We just need to keep in mind this 1348. And then the third event which shaped or which sort of acted as the background of Chaucer's life was Peasants' Revolt, which was led by Wat Tyler, and it happened in 1381. So these are the three major events which were happening when Chaucer was writing, and all of these, the influence of all of these works is directly seen in his works. Now, as I told you, when we are talking about Chaucer's works, his works can be divided in three periods. The very first period is the French period, French influence. Then second, we have the Italian influence. And then third, we have the English influence, in which period he is writing his most mature poetry. That period was the English period that comes later on towards the end. So what we need to do today, we need to understand which work comes under which period. Very simple thing because that comes directly in our exam. So we'll understand first French influence. See, as I told you, because there was a war going on between England and France, Chaucer also was captured by the French army and he was later ransomed by King Edward III and he got out on bail. So we also know that Chaucer had direct links with the court as well. So very first we have the French influence. What works do we have? We have two works. The very first work is a translation of a work originally written in French, but Chaucer translated it into English, and the work we have is Romance of the Rose. So this is a translated work. It is not his original work. And then second, we have the Book of the Duchess. My perspective for today's video is that you should know all of the works. You should be able to memorize which work comes under which category, and then you should be able to memorize these facts. Separate videos are already there for the different influences of period. For example, we have a separate video on the French influence, we have a separate video on the Italian influence, so you can see those videos directly over there. So French influence, we have two works, Romance of the Rose and Book of the Duchess, and that's it. We just need to keep these two works in our mind for the French period. Then we have Italian influence, in which there are three major works. The very first work that we have is House of Fame. Do not worry, we will keep all of the things, all of the facts in our mind when we are understanding this in greater detail. So don't worry about that. Just keep this in your mind. The very first work which was under the influence of Italian was House of Fame, and then we have the Parliament of Fowls, and the third work we have is Troilus and Cressida. This was also taken inspiration by William Shakespeare as well. Then third, we have our English period, in which we have to keep in mind only two works. The very first work is, again, we have Canterbury Tales. We all know this is very important from exam point of view, Canterbury Tales. And the next work we have is the Legend of Good Woman. So when I will be explaining you this, in greater detail, I will be using words like the Book of the Duchess was written in octosyllabic couplet, or the Legend of Good Woman was written in decasyllabic couplet. That is why I'm telling you this is again very important. So don't think that I am not doing anything, I am not doing this in greater detail. You will do it. Don't worry. First, we need to keep our foundation very strong. So how to learn these things in our mind also? We can say that Chaucer work was divided into three periods: French, Italian, and English. In the French influence, we have two works. So you can say that, French, usually we associate romance with French. So we have romance, rose, and then this rose we are giving to a duchess. So you can keep these three things, three words in your mind together and associate it with French. So we have the French works. Then Italian, you can understand it in three ways. For example, we have three works. So you can understand it like this. For example, we have here in India, we have Parliament, right? And we have two houses of Parliament. So Parliament and House, you can keep these two words in your mind. House of Fame and MPs are very famous. So House, Fame, Parliament, all these three words should be in one in one area in your mind. And then you can also understand like this, that these two are different MPs, Troilus and Cressida. So these two are different members of Parliament, and they go and sit in the houses of Parliament. Okay, so House, Parliament, Troilus, Cressida, keep these three things in your mind. Three works will be together. And then this Canterbury Tales, see, this should not be given as a mnemonic, because Canterbury Tales we will be doing in greater detail. So you should know Canterbury Tales. And Legend of Good Women, you can also say that women are legends. Women who speak English are legends, or women who speak good English are legends. So you can, or women who speak tales in English are legend. So you can keep all of these three, these things in your mind together and frame a story, so to easily learn how to keep all of the facts in our mind. Now we are done with the minor works. I will step aside for just 2 seconds so you can take a screenshot, and then we will continue to couplets. What a couplet is, I'll tell you, don't worry. What a couplet is, what is a stanza, then we will move on to the bifurcation. What does it mean to be an octosyllabic couplet? What does it mean to be a heroic couplet? And then we will move on. What is the meter of these couplets? What is the rhyme scheme? Who wrote it? All of this we will understand. So if you want, you can quickly take a screenshot, and then we will continue to our next topic, which is a couplet. Okay, so I hope all have now taken the screenshot. Now we will move on to another important thing which the examiners love to ask in the papers. Why? Because they know that students are confused in these things, and even if they change a single word, the entire meaning changes, and that is why it becomes a very famous topic of the examiners to ask in competitive exams. And competitive exams don't give you that much time where you can recall your notes, recall where you wrote it. So today I will be decoding this in a way that everything is fit in your mind. Okay, just give me another 10 minutes, give me full attention, and everything will be clear to you. Okay, so first we shall understand what is a couplet. Okay, what is a couplet? You must have seen of the word couple. So couple means two. So couplet is basically two lines. That's it. Two lines which are rhyming. Okay, so you need not keep anything in mind. Just keep in mind, couplet are two lines together. Okay, now whenever we are writing poetry, we see that there are certain couplets when they are used in writing the poetry. For example, we have two here, octosyllabic and decasyllabic. Decasyllabic is more important from exams point of view, but we need to know the names also. See this, what is this word octo? Octo means 8. And what is this word deca? Deca means 10. So octosyllabic means that it has 8 syllables in one line. That's it. That means if we have two lines together, that will become a couplet, and both of the lines will have 8 syllables per line. So this line will have 8 syllables, this line will have 8 syllables. Then that means that this couplet is an octosyllabic couplet. This thing is clear. Then we have decasyllabic couplet. Deca means 10. Similarly, it means deca means 10. So 10 syllables per line. I hope this is clear. So this is the first division that we need to keep in mind, and this is very easy from exams point of view, that this has 8 syllables in one line and this has 10 syllables per line. Now this octosyllabic couplet was used by Chaucer in his works, the Book of the Duchess. So the Book of the Duchess was written in octosyllabic couplet. I hope this now you will easily recall and learn. But here decasyllabic couplet is also known as heroic couplet. So this question is also again from exam point of view, which couplet is known as heroic couplet? Octosyllabic will be there in the question, in the answers, decasyllabic will be there. So we have to mark decasyllabic couplet is also known as heroic couplet. Why? Because later on in the 17th century, it was Pope who popularized this decasyllabic couplet and called him heroic couplet. Okay, so Chaucer was the one who actually introduced the decasyllabic couplet in English language. This becomes your second point, that Chaucer introduced decasyllabic couplet in English poetry. This is clear? Chaucer was the one who used it, and he used it in his English phase. English phase, he was using this decasyllabic couplet. So in the French phase, he is using octosyllabic couplet. In the English phase, he is using decasyllabic couplet. I hope this is clear. This octosyllabic couplet is mostly used in love. Whenever we have to show love or whenever we have to show any allegory, here it is used. But decasyllabic couplet is used more in mature poetry. Now, a very important from exam point of view, what we need to keep in mind. We need to keep in mind about the meter also. Now, you might wonder, what is a meter? What do we need to keep in mind about the meter, and how questions can come in exam? Now, this octosyllabic couplet, you need not keep the meter in mind, but for decasyllabic couplet, you need to keep that decasyllabic couplet is written in iambic pentameter. Decasyllabic couplet is written in iambic pentameter, or heroic couplet is written in which meter? Iambic pentameter. What do we mean by this? Penta means 5, right? So we have in a line, we have 5 iambs into 2. We have 5 iambs into 2, which becomes 10 syllables. So iamb is 1 syllable. So 1 syllable into 2, we have 10 syllables. This is clear. Now again, what is an iamb? I am, see, I know all of this is getting way too technical, but I will tell you at the end. Let me just completely finish this. Then I will tell you from exam point of view what you have to keep in mind. Now, iambic. What is the way in which iambic pentameter is written? It is written as da dum. That means it is written like unstressed and then stressed syllable. Okay, so first the emphasis will not be there, then the emphasis will be there. Now I will be telling you what you need to keep in mind from exam point of view. Very first thing, octosyllabic couplet has how many syllables in each line? 8 syllables. Very important. In a decasyllabic couplet, how many syllables are there per line? 10 syllables. Very good. In a decasyllabic couplet, how many iambs are there? 5 iambs. Clear? Now each iamb has what kind of syllable? Unstressed and stressed. This was a previous year DSSSB question. That in iamb, an iamb has what kind of syllable? The question, the options were stressed, unstressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, unstressed, stressed, stressed. So it is da dum, unstressed and stressed. This is clear. Then who was the one who introduced decasyllabic couplet in English poetry? It was Geoffrey Chaucer. In the English phase of his writing, Chaucer was writing in which couplet form? It was decasyllabic couplet. So rest assured, whatever I have written on the board, that is important for you. Now, see, many you will be watching many videos, so I am not telling you to trust me on face value. I am telling you that you go through the video and then you pick out previous year questions and then you do those questions. If you are doing the questions from this topic, you will be able to easily do the questions. That is my guarantee, right? And when you will do the questions, you have to put a comment in the comment section below that this video helped you in solving the questions, and then eventually in your exams. Okay, what do we need to keep in mind? 1 octosyllabic, 8 decasyllabic, 10. 10 syllables, 5 iams into 2 is equals to 10. I am unstressed, stressed. Decasyllabic, also called heroic couplet. Who introduced this? See, Chaucer is the father, right? Father of English poetry. So Chaucer is sort of a hero, right? Heroic couplet, Chaucer. Chaucer introduced. And then what is the meter in which decasyllabic poetry is written, couplet is written? Iambic pentameter. Very, very important. So what we need to keep in mind? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. That's it. Nothing else. And 7 sometimes it is asked. Only these 7 facts you need to keep in mind. Pause the video, take a screenshot, pause the video, keep in mind, recall what 7 points have I just told you, and then you'll be able to easily do that. Again, I will step aside for a moment. We have done couplets. Couplets are 2 lines divided into 2. Octa, deca. Octa means 8, deca means 10. Decasyllabic couplet, what is the meter? Very good. Iambic pentameter. Hero, Chaucer. Heroic couplet, Chaucer introduced. And then that's it. Iamb, yes. Unstressed and stressed. Very easy. Can we move on? Okay. Take a screenshot quick and be back. Okay. So let's now move on to 3 stanzas. Again, give me 5 minutes because this is very easy. And 5 to 7, this is very easy but a little bit technical. So what we'll do is, again, we will do it in a way, we will differentiate, and we will do it in a way that in one go everything it's fit in our mind. We don't have to study a lot of things. We have to study the right things in the right manner so that everything is compartmentalized in our mind. Otherwise we will forget, because English literature is very vast, and I'm only talking about English literature. We have to learn American, we have to learn Indian, we have to learn African. Very, it's humongous. So that is why I'm telling you, stick to this channel, stick to the video, and you'll be easily decode did everything. Okay, stanzas. What is a stanza? A stanza is basically a line, set of lines, set of lines in poetry. That's it. Whenever we have a set of lines, that is called a stanza. We all know that, right? So we need to keep in mind three kinds of stanzas. So what we will do is we will differentiate it in a manner that everything is clear in our mind. First, I have written, because we are studying Chaucer, let's write Chaucerian stanza. This is also called Rima Royale. I will tell you why is it called. Don't worry. Then we have Ottava Rima, and then we have Spenserian stanza. Spenserian stanza is not used anywhere in the 14th century. It was used later on in the 16th century by Edmund Spenser. But still we are doing this. That is why I have taken Spenserian stanza also, so that in one go only everything is clear in our mind. Okay. See, I told you what is a stanza. A stanza is a set of lines. How many lines? So, in Chaucerian stanza, we have 7 lines. In Ottava Rima, we have 8 lines. And in Spenserian stanza, we have 9 lines. Easy. Okay. So, question comes, in Spenserian stanza, or a Spenserian stanza is of how many lines? 9 lines. Simple. Ottava Rima, how many lines? 8. And Rima Royale is of how many lines? It is of 7 lines. Then we move on to the next, which is the meter. Very important. Now, Chaucerian stanza and Ottava Rima both are written in iambic pentameter. A lot of the poetry is written in this meter only, iambic pentameter. Clear? Both of these, Chaucerian stanza and Ottava Rima, are written in iambic pentameter. I have just told you the meaning of iambic pentameter, right? Iambic means unstressed, stressed syllable coming 5 times. Clear? Penta, 5 times. But Spenserian stanza is a bit different. How? The first to 8th line are written in iambic pentameter, but the 9th line is written in iambic. So we have iams, that is unstressed, stressed, but we have it 6 times. So the 9th line is written in iambic hexameter. Iambic hexameter is also called alexandrine. Very, very, very important question from exams point of view. Most of the time it is asked in your previous year, or it is asked in your papers. Go through your previous years, you will see this question. How is it asked? I'm telling you. The 9th line of Spenserian stanza is written in which meter? And in your exams, you will not see iambic hexameter. You will see alexandrine. So both of these names are important. Okay, how to learn? First and second, iambic pentameter, iambic pentameter. Third also, first to 8th line is written in iambic pentameter, and the 9th line is written in iambic hexameter, also called alexandrine. Clear? Then the third thing we need to keep in mind is the meter. Meter we have already done. So we have to understand the rhyme scheme now. Rhyme scheme will confuse you, but I am here to clear that confusion, and also I am here to make you learn. Sit through it. Now, rhyme scheme. See, first came Ottava Rima. Okay, then came Chaucerian stanza. So first Ottava Rima was the first to be introduced in Italy by Boccaccio. Boccaccio was again a poet, and he was the one who popularized Ottava Rima, and Chaucerian stanza we all can see from the name. Chaucer was the one who wrote it, and again Spenserian also, Spenser was the one who wrote it. So because here it was used first, so we have to understand the rhyme scheme of this first, then you will easily understand this. The rhyme scheme of Ottava Rima is A B A B A B C C. This is the rhyme scheme of Ottava Rima. Now, this rhyme scheme is exactly copied here in Chaucerian stanza. But since I told you it has 8 lines and it has 7 lines, so the fifth line of Ottava Rima gets eliminated in Chaucerian stanza. So the rhyme scheme of Chaucerian stanza is A B A B. Fifth line is skipped, so it is B C C. This is how you will learn, and this is how you will keep it in your mind also. Because Ottava Rima was the first stanza to be introduced by Boccaccio in Italy, the rhyme scheme is A B A B A B C C. Now, this was used by Chaucer, but he slightly modified it. So, in the modification, he removed the fifth line. And when he removed the fifth line, that A will not be there in this rhyme scheme. So, the rhyme scheme of this will be A, B, A, B, A is missing. So, B, C, C. This is how you will learn. And this is how a question was also asked in your net examination, that the fifth line of Ottava Rima gets eliminated in Chaucerian stanza. Or if they have to complicate it even further, the fifth line of Ottava Rima gets eliminated in Rima Royale. True, false? It is true, right? So this fifth line gets eliminated, and this is the rhyme scheme of Chaucerian stanza, right? And here Spenserian stanza, what is the rhyme scheme? This is completely different from these two. It is AB, AB, then we move on BC, BC and C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the meter? These lines are written in iambic pentameter. This line is written in iambic hexameter, also known as alexandrine. I hope this is clear. Now, last thing we need to keep in mind, we can also keep in mind, I will write it here, who wrote it. So, this was written by Boccaccio. This was used primarily by Chaucer. So Chaucer was the one who introduced Rima Royale, and this was introduced by Edmund Spenser. Right? Now last thing, why is it then called, we can write here popularized by or introduced by, why is it then called Rima Royale? Why? Because Chaucer introduced it in his poetry, but it was King James I of Scotland who actually popularized it, who used it in his works. I am writing here King's Square. So King James I of Scotland used Chaucerian stanza in his work King's Square, and hence because it was used by a king, it is also known as Rima Royale. Rima here stands for rhyme and Royale here stands for royal. So rhyme royal, the rhyme which was used by royalty. Who is the royalty? King James I of Scotland. Don't confuse him with King James I of England. He comes later on in the 17th century. Here we have King James I of Scotland. Who introduced Chaucerian stanza? It was Chaucer. Who popularized it? It was King James I of Scotland, who popularized and used it in his work, The King's Square. I hope this everything makes sense to you now, and these are the only facts which you need to keep in mind. I will put a star over here for you to easily understand, okay, what all things we can skip, what all things we need to keep in mind. First, Spenserian stanza, how many lines? Very, very important. See, this I think all can easily learn it. Chaucerian stanza, 7 lines. Ottava, see, O here looks like 8, so you can keep this in mind, that it is 8. And royal, some so we say it like this, ki, he's a royal person, so इसकी 7 पुश्ते no बैठ के खाएंगी, so something like that. So royal 7, keep this in mind, the association, you'll easily understand this. Okay, then these 2 meters we already know, iambic pentameter, most of the poetry written in this. So this and this you will easily keep this in mind, because Shakespeare will also write in this, and other poets are also writing. So iambic pentameter we need to keep in mind. This very very important detail, first to 8 iambic pentameter, ninth iambic hexameter, also known as election rhyme. Then rhyme scheme, first this came, right, first this came. So this rhyme scheme is AB 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 C C, and the rhyme scheme of this is, this A gets eliminated, so AB AB BC C, and here what is the rhyme scheme? AB AB BC BC and C. I hope this is clear. This was used, introduced, popularized by Edmund Spenser. This was used by Boccaccio, and this was first used by Chaucer and then King James I of Scotland. I hope everything is clear. I have tried to decode this in a manner that you can easily learn, understand, and retain in your mind, so that your exams are sorted. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you have any doubts, if you want notes, if you have any doubts, please put it in the comment section below, so that I get to know and I can help you in your journey towards your government job preparation. Thank you and have a nice day.